Good afternoon or morning, depending on the part of the country you're in. Today is June 25th, 2015, and I believe this is our 30th Mastermind call. So, guys, welcome. I think in the beginning it was Chad and I talking to ourselves, and this has really grown. There's over 50 or 60 people on the call so far. So I appreciate y'all taking the time out of your schedule. We do our best to keep these calls right at 30 minutes. Sometimes we succeed better than others. But we respect your time. We appreciate you showing up, and we really encourage. We got a tremendous number of new people this week. We encourage participation, so please ask questions. This is meant to be your guys' call, so we can help you be successful at at using these leads and these services we're providing. Chad, any company news that you want to excuse me, that you want to start with this week, or are we good?
Well, we're kind of I'll back up to guys. We like to keep this as an open line because the nature of the call. I mean, we want it to be a true mastermind environment, but the road noise that we hear and the beeps and the dog barking and everything, just please, be aware of your background noise and whether you're on mute or not, because we don't ever want to lock the lines and try to turn this into a call or two. That's the beauty of this call, is anyone can jump in and participate. But the background noise is, when we get this many people on a call, just try to be aware of if you're in a noisy environment, just mute out. I do want to talk about last week. We spent last week in Florida together as a company and really looked at, where we've come and where we're headed. And without going too deep into it, I mean, you guys are going to see some really great changes. You're going to see a lot better systems. You're going to see a lot better training, and just an overall improved experience. And, someone from our team will be reaching out and talking to you guys. I mean, one of the big things that came out of our strategy is we want to create what's valuable to you. So if you're new on this call, talk to us often and jump in the Facebook page. One thing I love about this group is people, whether they're vulnerable or whether they're celebrating, they will jump out on Facebook and just put it out there. And I love how quickly people jump in and help, and that's awesome. That's what we wanted to create all along. So the more that you guys communicate that with us, and the more that you have to say that this is what's working and why is this not working, the better we're all going to be. And that's what this call is about. It's what the Facebook group is about. And we're very excited about where we're at as a company. We're even more excited about where we're going to be in the next 6 months. And there's going to be a lot of things, a lot of value add that we're going to be bringing, with both probate and other new lead sources that we're working on and testing. So, anyways, for the people that have been with us for a while, we always appreciate having you. That's kind of the update of where we were last week. And for the new folks, come back often and learn as much as you can. Let us know, what you like, what you would like to see, and we're committed to building that for you guys.
Excellent. And one thing I was going to add, this is an open forum. We've spent the last 2 weeks, we spent 90% of our time talking about mailings. So if possible, if somebody's got a pressing mailing question, that's fine. One of our goals with the new website to go live today is we're going to have everything integrated into one location. So you're not going to have to go from your members page to the home page to the Facebook page. It's all going to be there. Chad, would you really briefly, or maybe we should wait till the site goes live and talk about this next week, where to find everything. But let me just go ahead.
So the plan is, Jim, I'll update the fast track videos that you see pinned at the top of our Facebook group. Those will all be updated when the new technology goes live. I'll make a whole new set of videos of how to order mail, where to find your leads, how to handle support questions, things like that.
And the other request I would have, guys, when I started this company, I got people that were smarter than myself and surrounded me with them in areas that I'm not good at. So I kind of put myself in charge of sales because that's what I like doing. But I spend too much time, honestly, going over things with people that are, when you first sign up and you get that welcome page, The one request I would ask of everybody, really read what's there and do what's there. And maybe if you haven't done that, go back and look at that welcome page again and actually do everything that's there. And you're going to get off to a really strong start if you're brand new or if you're just getting your first set of leads, especially. All right. Having said that, this is the biggest group we've ever had, so no pressure. I'm expecting some great questions this week. Who has something that they would like to share with the group, or who has a question? And you can unmute yourself now if you need to ask a question.
Jim, I had a question in regard to after you've sent mailers and you make, your initial call that says, there was one script in there on the, when you first sign up, but then when you make calls, subsequent phone calls before your next mailer, is there a script or something that you can share with us that helps, continue to try and engage these people?
Are you saying if you made contact the first time and you just or you didn't make contact on the first call?
Yeah, I got a lot of leads. I made, I think, 20 contacts on 78 phone calls. And so now it's time to make a second call because either, they weren't home or I left a message or, the executor wasn't there or something like that. So I want to make another call before I send another mailer. Because the mailers are once a month, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I wanted to make a weekly call, and okay, now it's time to go ahead and make another phone call, but I don't know really what to say.
Are you doing live phone calls or automated voicemail?
I don't do automated voicemail at all.
Okay. So help me, what was your first message for those 50 people you didn't have contact with? Was it a specific
there was one, a script in there that basically says, hi, I'm looking for, whomever the executor is. I understand you may have inherited a property in San Bernardino County. If you're interested in selling or some information, please call, blah, 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 and I leave my information. And that's all I said.
Okay. So a better script, and if you look above that, I leave stuff in that didn't work well for me, just so people can see. And what I would say is, it seems like Jim and even our office and everybody, the more generic the message is, the better response we've had.
Oh.
So you may just, on your next message, you may call and say, hey, this is Agent, and I left you a message last week. We had also sent you a letter. Just wanted to follow up and make sure you got that and understood why we reached out. Give me a call at 12345, and just keep it really brief and generic. And you'll probably get more callbacks. Some of them will say you have the wrong number because the nature of the way we find phone numbers, it's not 100% accurate. Skip tracing never is. So if you are calling Mary Jones, there may be 75 Mary Joneses in the United States. It might not be that Mary Jones doesn't want what you have to offer. You may be leaving the message for the wrong Mary Jones. If you leave a really generic message and Mary Jones calls back and says, I don't know who you are, then you can kind of check her off, take that phone number out, but still continue to mail the real Mary Jones that you're trying to reach. But those 50, it could be a combination of they were the wrong person, it was the wrong number, or they don't have a home to sell. If you're that specific thing, call me if you have a home you'd like to sell. So try a more generic message and see how that works for you. And try to keep it under, 20 seconds when you say.
All right, good first question. Thank you. Who else has
Can I ask a quick follow-up?
Of course.
So you made 78 phone calls and you made live phone calls. How long did that take you?
Huh?
You made 78 live phone calls. How long did that take you to do?
About an hour and a half, and I don't have a dialer.
Wow. He's good.
You don't need one.
No kidding.
That reminds me of way back when I sold real estate. I had 2 phones and 2 headsets, and I'd dial one phone and then dial the other. You just you are a prospector. I like your dedication and your energy. That's great.
Well, I just wanted, because we have 350 phone calls to make.
Wow. You need a dialer.
We're poor.
Guys, we got 20
Jim,
minutes. Who else has a question?
Jim, Joe Cashmore here. I have a question as well. I've noticed because I use Vulcan 7, and I've noticed that the probate leads little box is up there, and I clicked on it and it went to your site. Who's using Vulcan for the probate leads, and have they had any success?
Anybody on the call using Vulcan for your auto dialer? I guess we don't have.
I don't. They're not on the call. We do have several people that are using it, and I think it's been actually it's pretty seamless for them. So we actually have an interface where we import directly into Vulcan. So it's as easy to use. It's from I'm not a Vulcan user, but my understanding is it's basically the same experience as you'd have with expireds. So all the data's there and it's set up in the dialer.
Well, that's what got me. Coming back, Jim, is the fact that it's on Vulcan, and that's what our team uses. So
great. And guys, regardless of what dialer you use, the leads can typically be imported in there. And Chad has actually produced videos that are on our site for almost all the major dialers that show you how to import your data in there and how to use it. So it's not difficult to do. So we want to make this work with whatever you're using, so you don't have to go out and get a whole bunch of new stuff. Who else has a question? Go ahead.
We have a service we can do an auto message, and we also are at the spot where we need to make some live phone calls. And we have a big list. What do you think? I mean, should we just take the time and do it live, or should we drop the automated messages, or what are your ideas on that? Because we're getting ready to do that this afternoon.
I think that if you have the ability to make live calls, that's always going to be best. I mean, it's business. A personal touch is always going to be better. A lot of the folks who just don't have the time or the resources have done well with ringless voicemail. But if you're if you're set up to prospect and you have an ISA or you have agents who can make the calls, I think that's always going to be the best bet.
And then what I always tell people, if you're not going to make the calls, it's a lot better to do a ringless voicemail than to not make them. So,
yeah, absolutely.
I've done both, and I've gotten good results both ways. But I personally don't have the time to make them. I've got 3 other businesses, and the volume of leads I get. It's like our friend Sandra Marconi in Houston is getting 600 leads a month. I mean, she'd be on the phone 24/7, or she'd have to get several telemarketers to do it.
Hello?
So there's not I don't think there's a bad way to contact these people. The number one thing, like Chad said, doing anything is, the first thing you should do is anything. Make sure you contact them. If you have the time, I agree. It's always better to make the personal call if you have the time. Well, guys,
Jim,
go ahead. Question?
Jim, one more question, Joe Cashmore again.
Sure.
What are the numbers that we're getting in Vulcan? Who are the numbers for?
You're going to excuse me. Typically, we're going to get you anywhere from 1 to 5 phone numbers for the executor. And now, we also, Joe, if you're a Vulcan user, we send you the Excel spreadsheet with all of the data, which is more data than you really need. But it has the last known address, the date of death. It's got the name, address, and phone number of the executor and the name, address, and phone number of the probate attorney. But I don't use Vulcan, but my understanding is what they import into Vulcan automatically is the executor's phone numbers.
Okay, and does that include cell phone numbers as well?
Yes. Yeah, and that's a good point, Joe. I always tell people some of them are going to be cell phones, some are going to be landlines, some are going to be fax machines, some are going to be disconnected. It's like any other kind of prospecting.
Yeah,
absolutely. You might have to call all 3 or 4 numbers to get them, but you're not going to reach 100% of the people. That's why we strongly recommend that you send out a letter and follow up with a phone call. That way you're getting 100% coverage. But a majority of the time, a significant majority of the time, one of the phone numbers, at least one of the phone numbers, should be good.
Perfect.
Hey, I asked for no questions about mailings, and we haven't had any, but I'll open it up to anything. Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I've got another question since everyone else is.
Please, thank you. Thank you, Joe.
The mailings. Do you still have a service to send those letters out as well, or
Yeah.
what are people on this call doing with letters, or how are they sending them out?
Great question. Who's doing well with the mailings? Is who's doing well doing the mailings themselves? Let me ask that first.
I've only done it once, so my efforts don't count yet.
Okay. And
most people only do it once.
Yeah. And Chad, I
Why?
guess.
Why do they only do it once?
So when you are doing a multiple touch campaign like this, what we recommend is at least 3 letters over 3 months. So month 1, you've got, 1 letter or 3. If you print all 3, you might have 3 letters to print, and you've got 1 to drop in the mail. Month 2, you'll have 6 letters to print and 2 to drop in the mail. Month 3, you'll have 9 letters to print and 3 to drop in the mail. And it just becomes, it's just a daunting task. We made it to 3 months in my office, and we were doing it all in-house. And my assistant, she's got a very strong systems mind, and so do I. And we were both confused.
Terrible conference.
So that's when I said, all right, we've got to sign the mail.
11.
So what we do is the day we get the
11 and
list,
11.
we order all 3 letters, and we go straight from the mail order to Google Calendar and to top producer, and we put that schedule into the calendar, and we put that schedule into the notes producer. So at any given time during the 90-day period, we know what day our mail was ordered. We know what day it should be delivered. Jim, can you delete them out?
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying to find them. Somebody picked up the phones, having a sales call during the call.
So we took mail from being a 90-day process that we had to manage, and we forgot what we did here and there, all the way down to probably less than 30 minutes. So we get the list, we place the order, we click send, and we forget about it. And Google Calendar pops up and says, hey, Chad, you got mail hitting today. 2 days later, it says, hey, Chad, make phone calls today. And we really systemized it. And, it was costing me, and I talked to somebody this morning that said they're doing their own mailings, and they've gotten it down to 78 cents a piece in their office. And what they're not accounting for is what they're paying their staff members, or what opportunity costs it costs them to spend the day stuffing envelopes. So what we found is if you bring your assistant salary into it, or you take your own time and bring that into your cost per letter, personally, I think $1.50 is cheap, because what we're delivering is a more expensive mail piece. It's a pretty smart envelope, first class, and the best handwritten font that I've ever seen. And I spent 30 minutes versus worrying about it for 3 months.
Well, if you want to do it yourself, I pushed hard last night. 5 hours, 250 letters.
I'm sorry, say that again. 5.5 hours, 250 letters?
Yeah, and I was pushing hard.
Yeah.
And was that for 1 letter?
One letter. I got 150 to go.
Okay, so that means
I don't want to do that myself.
7-8 hours a month. And
Yeah.
After 3 months, so you're spending 24 hours a month at month 3 to do this mail.
Wow, guys. I've got everybody muted out, and I don't know. Chad, you're the only one that's not muted out. Oh, okay. It was area code 512. You know what I've decided, guys, because this is not acceptable. Starting next week, we're gonna mute everybody out. We're gonna have you text in with a question, and then we'll have to unmute you, because it's just too hard for everyone to hear. So
we can do a caller queue, Jim. I think if you press *69, you can enter a queue. It's kind of like raising your hand.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to do that. I had to mute everyone out, so now, if you have a question, just push *6 to unmute yourself.
Okay. Awkward.
okay. That's okay. I'm gonna let you all back in gradually until I hear a lot of noise. Sorry about that, guys.
Jim?
Yes, go ahead.
Jim, hi. I wanted to ask the guy that systematized and got it down to a half hour in Google. Who was that? And I'd like to have someone from
that is
questions.
Yeah, that's Chad. Chad was the one.
You can
okay.
you can always email me. It's chad@alltheleads.com, and I'll be here every Thursday.
Thanks, Chad.
Chad is basically our full-time coach. He's here if you have. He's half my age, so he's forgotten more about technology than I'll ever know, and he's very, very good with systematizing things. So if you guys have those issues, that's what he's here for. And he's done it in his own business, so he not only knows how to do it, he's actually doing it himself. All right. Well, we found the culprit. I won't say who you are, but I'm letting everybody back in now that I figured out who was making all that noise. We got about another 10 minutes, guys. Anybody have any pressing issues, anything they want to share, any other questions? I've let almost all of you back in now. I think my partner, Tim, you're on the call, right?
I just got on, bud. I just walked back in the door.
All right. We have one of our other partners on the call. Tim, anything you want to add?
Unfortunately, I didn't hear the beginning of the call, but I'll share one thing that I heard from one of our customers. I don't know if you've talked about good things that are going on, but I do have one thing to share. I spoke with one of our guys in the Northeast yesterday, and he's done 2 deals since he started. I think one of them was $400,000, and the other one was 7 or 8. So he's done like $1.6 million in sales in 2 deals, and I'm pretty pleased with that. I'm pleased to hear that. It's always good to hear good success stories, and we want more of those.
Yeah, and Tim, I spoke to him also. He was actually giving me a little bit of a hard time. He said, in 3 or 4 months, I've only done 2 deals. He's in the most competitive market in the country, and when we did the math on it, like you said, he's made over $40,000. So not a bad return on your investment.
Yeah, I think in general he's pretty pleased with his finances. How's everything else going? You guys had a good call so far?
Well, we had a noisy one. We decided that we're going to have to go with the queue system. I finally found the culprit and muted him out, but it's much better now. I've got everybody else back on except the one person. So
I'll bring my dog in and let her bark if you'd like.
Like last week, right? Chad, do you have any questions for the group to prompt anybody to? I think what's happened here, I think we got a ton of people this week that are brand new. So you guys may not have enough experience to ask any questions, but nothing's off limits. If you have anything else you're curious about, anything you need help with, this is what we're here for.
How about the first couple days? What do you do after you become a new agent? First couple days, what do you do?
Good question. So the first thing is if you're in the Facebook Mastermind group.
Hey Jim, buddy.
Either in the email that you first received when you signed up, there's a link to a playlist called Fast Track Videos, and you can also find that same playlist pinned to the top of the Facebook group. So take 25 minutes and watch those. Those videos will be switched out probably in the next week or so. I'll read them. But Chad, hold on. I've got a Facebook group is a great place where you got started. Scroll down the wall. We've posted role play calls. There are all the mail pieces that we send. The campaign outline is one that you definitely want to download that document and customize it to your own business. But just spend time understanding the resources you have. I mean, we literally give you everything that you need to get this up and running. A lot of people glance over that in the initial email. It stays pinned to the top of Facebook so they miss it. But just make sure you watch the fast track videos and you understand what's available to you. And the other thing, anytime you have anything lead related, you can email support@alltheleads.com. Anytime that you feel like you're stuck or you just don't know what to do next or what to do first or anything training related, or you just have questions, you can always email chad@alltheleads.com or support, and that ticket will get to me, and we'll reach out and make sure you're taken care of. So that would be, if you wanted to do one thing this week, I think that's the best single thing you could do, because everything will kind of branch out from there, and it'll start to be clear what's available to me, what should I be doing first, and what steps do I need to take. I'd like to ask you guys a question. I'd like to know.
Thank you.
Especially from the new people that have come in, what do you guys want to see from us that you don't currently see? And if it's already there, maybe we haven't done a good enough job presenting it to you and letting you know where that is. And I think the new website will solve a lot of that. But what are you guys seeing that you like, or not seeing that you would like to have?
I think for me, just the follow-up piece in any type of subscriptions that I've done with leads, the follow-up piece has always been kind of the missing link. And so if there's a way to strengthen that part, I would just ask for that.
Okay. So, and you're saying between letter 1, letter 2, letter 3, like what do you do in that period between?
Right, because I think from information gathering and all of that, and it's that's what's purchased, but the money is in the follow-up. The business is in the follow-up, and I've often missed that piece, and I can't say enough for how important it is to follow up often, correctly, and consistently with people in order to get the business. And I don't expect this to turn over in a month. I expect about a 3-month period before I actually see the business realistically. But I'm just so nervous about the follow-up and missing links there.
Okay. Well, I think the reason why you don't see it like you would on, say, a house values campaign or an expired campaign where you go through 10 days of pain and just hit them. This is and what we find is, like, I list homes a lot of times that are 6-8 months away from my last letter. So I sent a letter in October, and someone calls me and says, come list my house. I'm finally ready to do this. Or they call and say, tell me about what you do. And I find out that they're in probate quicksand. They're just paralyzed because they haven't cleaned out the house. They haven't taken the steps that they need to take. And we through all the options we provide, we kind of lead them out of the quicksand and into a decision that they've been trying to make for months, but they just couldn't. So I guess the follow-up piece to me is letter 1, phone call 1, and then I just let it sit. The follow-up is letter 2, and then letter 3. What I find is, we always list properties on the first 3 touches, but we also list a lot of properties after the sequence is long done. I don't think that you can ever send enough. If you've studied marketing and branding, a lot of sales happen around touch 7 to 9. Now that increases your marketing costs, so maybe you can consider going from the 3 letters with 1 month spacing to 3 postcards with 1 month spacing. So you draw it out to a 6-month campaign, but you can send 3 postcards for less than you can send 1 letter. And it's just it's continuing to stay in front of them. So if you wanted to do additional touches, I would say do it in addition to the 3-month campaign. I wouldn't try to jam a whole lot in between, because I feel like everybody's going to be moving at a different pace through this process, and it's literally one of the most stressful things a person can ever go through. So you'll get the ones on the front that are highly motivated and want to list and just need to get it done right now. But the people who are stuck in that quicksand, I think you still need to space out your frequency compared to other lead types, and layer in value.
That would apply to both mailing and the phone calls, correct? I mean, exactly. My own policy, I never stop calling until they tell me to. Honestly.
How often do you call?
Well, I'm going back to when I was an agent. I was a bulldog. I used to call them every day. I wouldn't do that for probate. I obviously wouldn't do that for probate. But I don't think the minimum you want to call every time you send them a letter. And personally, I don't think there'd be anything wrong with calling them every other week or maybe twice between letters. They'll tell you if you're calling them too much. But sometimes you just gotta stay fresh in their mind. I think I shared with you guys, I had one on a letter I sent out a year ago, but I had left the guy half a dozen messages. he didn't even call me back, but he listened to all the messages. He put my letter away, and when the time came, he remembered me before he remembered the other people that maybe he just got one letter and that was it. So I don't think you can be overly persistent. Like Chad said, everybody has a different pace at which they grieve, and everybody has a different time frame, when this gets to be urgent to them. We find that most of these heirs, if they've taken the time to file the probate with an attorney, most of them are ready to sell.
Uh-huh.
Now, that doesn't mean that they don't still have to get down to Florida to look at the property and go through mom and dad's stuff. That doesn't mean that it's going to be tomorrow, but they've made the decision that this is something they want and have to do. So you're kind of preaching to the choir when you prospect to them. You're dealing with people that already want to do what you want to do. You just got to make sure they call you when they're ready to do it. And I personally think the more you stay in front of them, the better your chances are, of having that happen.
Okay.
Question, comment?
Sure.
It would seem to me that you want to emphasize and promote your support services to be able to assist them.
Yes. Expand a little bit. How do you do that?
Well, I mean, with your team, right? As you and I spoke, Jim. You're having your contractor, your handyman, your investor, all your assist services that can help them get through the process if they are stuck or even think they're stuck.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
If you guys have listened to any of the recorded mastermind calls from the very beginning, I mean, if you're just getting started, get really, really clear on why it is you're reaching out to this group of people. Get really clear on who it is that's going to help you kind of build that team. So your cash buyers, your estate sale company, your attorney, your clean out guy, your contractor, and then roll that into one value, unique selling proposition. And it's vital that you really understand that and you become really good at articulating that, because the biggest thing is helping them understand that you're different. You're providing a list of options and really differentiating yourself. So most people who are in this stage of life, they know a realtor. Everyone knows a realtor. And we've taken a lot of that business just because we were so much different. And the big thing is offering those multiple options. And a lot of times people will get on the hook of, quick cash sale, and that's not what's right for them. But that was the thing that got me on the phone with them. And then I showed them how we could make them more money in about the same amount of time by selling conventionally, but not until we cleaned out the house, sold the personal property, did some repairs, and, staged the home, got great photography. So it's all about offering all those options. And when you get real clear on those things, you get real confident. And that just seems to be the common denominator for the people who have done really well with this. They have a solid, plan of, these are my team members, these are the options we provide, and then when they get on the phone, they just do it. I mean, they're like Tammy, they list 5 houses in a week. So that's, and that probably in the fast track videos, that's probably the same progression, but absolutely one of the most important things is really building this as it's intended to be, and what you can do matches what the letters say and what your conversations are on the phone.
Excellent. Guys, we're about 8 minutes over on this call. I really appreciate everybody showing up. I'm going to start off the next call by muting everybody out, and I think I'll let you on one at a time. I identified someone in a 512 area code that was making all that noise, and then after I muted them out, they came back on. So I'm gonna do the best I can to make the communication clearer. I really appreciate you taking the time to show up today. As always, guys, if you need anything between now and next Thursday, pick up the phone and call us. Send an email to support@alltheleads.com, and go out there and have a success story to share with us next week, guys. Thank you for showing up today. Take care.
Thanks, everybody.